right. And speaking of the day's discussions, we welcome you to be part of these conversations using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. And do remember to tag us individually as well. My handle is the Jane Wambui. My colleagues at Ramaguko, at Dorina Range, and at Fiona Shuru is how you can reach them individually. And if you so prefer to send us a message, 20154 is the number. Now, as I had mentioned earlier, today we continue with a series of discussions in regards to positive parenting that we started last week. And last week it was just helping you understand what positive parenting is all about amid this crisis that we are in, the COVID-19 pandemic. So today we pick up from where we left off last week, and today we look at a different aspect of parenting, and this is all about parenting styles. So many are wondering, okay, is there even a parenting style there that has been scientifically proven to be true? Yes, there are, and there are 5 of them that we're going to be looking at today. And to help us with this discussion this morning, we have with us in studio this morning the same lady that we had last week. She is Lillian Mutua, who is the County Health Promotion Coordinator here in Nairobi County. Karibu sana. Good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, and remember, you can always follow NACADA on social media. The handle is at NACADA.
Yeah,
yes,
at NACADA.
At NACADA. Any questions, comments, or clarifications that you may be needing that you want to send directly to them, do send them through using their handle, that is NACADA. Now, let's just get straight into it. You know, when we talk about parenting styles, somebody is wondering, okay, what do you mean when you talk about parenting styles? And maybe we could start there. What does parenting style even entail? What does that whole word mean?
Thank you. Now, when we talk of parenting styles, is actually the manner in which you relate with your children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it has to do with the communication. And communication here is not just what your mouth is saying, it is also what your body language is saying.
Mm.
Yeah. And then the kind of support that you're going to give your children and even the people around you, including your spouse.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is what the parenting style is about.
Is all about.
Yes.
And one might be wondering, okay, parenting styles, why are they important? You know, is this something that I really need to be paying attention to? But what is the importance of, you know, these different parenting styles that are out there?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So it's really important that we know what kind of style we are using, because when you become aware of something, then it becomes necessary for you to, it becomes, you know, you begin to consciously think about it. For example, you find that you will have a mother and a father using 2 different styles, which can actually be conflicting. So you find that one probably is very strict, yeah, and the another one is very permissive.
Yes.
So you see, definitely you're going to have conflict in the way you are handling the same child. Mm. And the children actually get to know which parent is soft and which one is the strict one.
And
so,
they take advantage.
Yes, they will take advantage. So if they find that you as probably the father is the one that allows things, then if they want something, they come to you. If they know that the mother is strict because probably she keeps track of a lot of things in their lives, then they are likely to say, no. If it is in this case, don't go to mom. You will not succeed.
You will not.
So you see that having 2, and people more often than not do not have the same styles.
Yes.
So that means that being aware of it so that you do not conflict. Yeah. Because you can imagine if the 2 of you, you go to mom and mom says, that cannot happen. Last time I already gave you this amount of money. What did you do with it? Then you go to dad. Dad says, oh, how much do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, definitely, the child is also going to get confused and take advantage anyway, depending on what they want.
And they do that.
Yeah.
I have witnessed it with my 7-year-old. When they see they can't penya here, they go to the other parent.
Yeah.
Now let's just get straight into some of these parenting styles that are out there that, you know, most have been tested and proven. And let's start with the harshest of them all that has been noted out there. And this is the authoritarian way of parenting. Help us understand what this authoritarian way is all about.
I'm sure a good number of us went through that kind of authoritarian parenting, which means that obedience is something that is very key. Yeah. I have said that you wake up and go and take your breakfast. So you don't seek your opinion in terms of that. It's about what I have said. So it means that as a parent, you more or less give direction and you expect that they should be obedience from the point of the child.
There's no room for negotiation.
There is no room for negotiation.
What I say is cast on stone. It is, there's no, you don't have to get saying this. It is more of a one-way street.
Including as a parent, you can decide, oh, you know what? You are going to study medicine. And I'm sure you know a number of children who have gone through medical school and then they finish and say, okay, that was dad's.
Now let me do mine.
Yes, let me now go and do mine.
I think this authoritarian way of parenting should be named AKA the African style of raising children. Because for most of us, even for our parents, you know, that is the way things were. You know, what the parent says goes. But, you know, just looking at this way of parenting, it has both its, you know, advantages and disadvantages. But let's just start by understanding how it impacts the child. And we want us to look at different aspects of how the child is brought up. Let's start with, you know, the esteem of the child. How is this type of parenting, what is the relationship that it has on this child's self-esteem?
You know, if you are never ever given a chance to speak up, there is a way in which you always feel small.
Yes.
So if you feel small, it means that even when you know something, you can actually not, even in class, you can't raise your hand so that you can say, you just give your opinion. You always have a feeling, you know, they will not accept what I'm saying. Oh, no, you know, nobody cares about what I say. So that means that such a child is likely to have a low esteem. Yeah, so they never ever get to speak up. So essentially, particularly when they get into preteen and then teen, then you begin to see a lot of aggression.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to how they view authority and, you know, especially when they're in places where they're independent, how does this sort of parenting impact how they view authority?
Yeah, so then, you know, there are two ways. That is why some then become very aggressive.
Yeah.
Because of, they find, they would actually want to do something that is out of the ordinary. Yeah. So more or less like rebelling.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, they can rebel. On the other, then you find that they'll just do it the way it happens at home.
They'll be very timid.
Yeah, become very timid and just say, okay, it is easier to just do it than to raise your voice and say something.
All right.
Yeah.
And also still looking at children who are brought up, you know, in this form of parenting style, mostly because, you know, you cannot just use one parenting style exclusively. For the children who have been brought up, you know, mostly under this authoritarian way of authoritarian parenting style, how are they, when it comes to their relationship to alcohol and drugs? How is that affected along the journey much later in life?
You know, as a parent, you probably have said, you cannot, you know, then it means there's a lot of don'ts.
No,
Let me not find you.
Yes.
Take alcohol. This is not allowed. But now when they get into teenage and then into young adulthood, then they're just likely to do what you told them not to do.
Because now they have the freedom to do so.
Just to test and see, okay, what else can you do? Because you see, when they were younger, you had a lot of authority. Probably you could even use the cane. You could punish them. But now when they are older, you know, you realize that they are taller than you, so they can look down upon you. They've developed some muscles. So it means that if you try to continue the same way, you know, they're likely to also stand up and show you that, yes, now I'm bigger.
So it could either lead them extremely towards wanting to, you know, try out alcohol and all other forms of drugs.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a predisposing factor.
Yes, it's actually a predisposing factor because remember that the person has not been able to express themselves. And you know, when you talk of things like alcohol and drugs, they are actually things that, you know, take out the best or the worst in you.
Yes.
Yeah, inafungua roho. So it means that it gives you an opportunity to actually say what you want
what you really want to say.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's quickly move on to another type of parenting style that is out there, and this is the authoritative. The first one is authoritarian, and then we have the authoritative. Tell us a bit about the authoritative way of parenting.
Yeah, so the authoritative is actually warmer. So that means you are more or less saying, let's talk about it. Yeah. So you see, as a parent, I still have the final say. Yeah. But I'm giving you a chance to say something. Say something so that then you say, Oh, so if it is, let's say, in careers, then you're like, okay, so what would you really want to study? Yeah. So probably they say, oh, I want to be a musician. The authoritarian one will say, what? That cannot happen in this house.
In my house.
In my house, that cannot happen.
Yeah.
But you see, as an authoritative parent, then you're likely to ask yourself, oh, so what do you want to do as a musician? Where do you study this? And then where would you study it? Okay? So once you finish, then what would you want to do? You're giving a child an opportunity to actually think deeply about what they are talking about.
Okay.
So whereas you do not agree with them, you're likely to say, no, it can't happen in my house. But let's talk about it. Gives you an opportunity to hear what they are saying. Then, you could even ask them questions and let them explore. And then they realize, no, I don't think that is a good one.
Now, when it comes to enforcing, the rules and laws that every house has, how is the authoritative parent when it comes to this, rules and the children in the house?
Yeah, like in the last week, we talked about the issue of, developing routine.
Yeah.
And this routine is developed with the children. So that as you come up with rules, you're also talking about the consequences
of breaking
yes, the
them.
Consequences. So that now, when it comes to a situation where they have violated what they agreed upon, you're going to ask them, okay, so what did you say happens if you don't finish your food? They give you the answer. Say, okay, so now what happens? Yeah, because you see, probably you had agreed that if you finish your food, and sometimes they take hours to finish this food.
Yes.
If you finish your food, then you're going to have 30 minutes of video game. So I said, okay, so what did you say happens if you don't finish your food? Oh, you don't do the video game. All right. So that means that now you forgo your video game. Yeah. So that way, it helps the child as they grow up that they are usually the pros and cons of doing things.
They're part of the decisions that involve them.
Yes, yeah. And the fact that they are decisions,
Yeah.
there is actually responsibility towards what you're doing.
Now, when it comes to how this type of parenting impacts their self-esteem, how does it resonate? How does their self-esteem get to show itself in places where they are not in the presence of the parent?
You know, when you're given a chance to actually speak your mind, you know, I give you an opportunity to speak your mind, even though in the end, I will say no. Yeah. You know, you feel like, okay,
I had
tried.
the chance.
Yes, I had the chance, I tried. So it means that that child's self-esteem is much higher. They are able to speak up their minds. They are able to express themselves. If something is not right, they can actually stand up. Yeah, if they find that maybe somebody is being discriminated against, even if it's a classmate, they're likely to stand up and say, this is actually not right. So it means that the person has a chance to, you know, even make decisions and also help others around them.
They feel
become
that
more
their
caring.
voice can be heard.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to how they look at authority and discipline, how are they compared, at least to the authoritarian category?
Yeah, in this case, when they look at discipline, then they begin to see the idea behind it. Yes, there is always the idea behind it, so that they know there are certain things that are a no-no. Even in this house, there are things that we don't discuss.
Yes.
Yeah, because that one is parental responsibility. But there are certain things that we can actually discuss. So it means that they get to know that, you know, even in terms of discipline, there are certain things that you can do, and there are certain things that you can explain your way out, and so on. So it means that they're able to get that balance out of it.
They understand the why behind the authority, not just the figure per se.
And they're likely to ask you why. Yes, why should I do that? You know, in the authoritarian, you know, we were always told, you know, I have said you must be here by 7 p.m. There is no room for why.
Because I said so.
Because I said so. Yeah. So there is no voice. But in authoritative, then, you know, they could ask why, or you're going to even give explanations. For example, you see right now, people are supposed to stay home. Curfew begins at 7. yeah, should you be found outside, then these are the things that will happen.
Yeah.
If it is not curfew time, then what happens if you're out in the dark?
Okay.
Yeah. So would you then explain yourself? If you're running late, do you get to explain yourself and so on? So then they understand the why behind everything.
What is being put in place.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to their attitude towards alcohol and drug use, how are they compared to, the children who are under the authoritarian, who you find they're pretty, pushed to the edge and they might be inclined to try, alcohol and drugs. What about this category?
Because there's already warmth. There's already a warmth and care between the parent and the child. So it means that even as a parent, you must have also talked about, we don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Alcohol is not allowed. It is not good for it's not good for your brain because your brain is still developing. Remember, you have already given reasons. You're not just saying how alcohol is not allowed. You are telling them what is it that happens when you take alcohol. These are the things that it will happen. Your age does not allow this. It's going to affect your brain because your brain is still growing and so on. So you see, you've already given a reason. Now, when it comes to drug use, you see, they're likely to remember this. Yeah, they're likely to remember this, that my parents don't approve of this. I would not want to disappoint my mother or my father. So it means that they are likely to be much more aware of the fact that this is not right. Yeah. And they think about what will the other person think about, compared to the other one who say, let's see what they will do.
Fire.
Yeah.
Tufanye sahi kesi baadaye.
Yeah.
All right. So they're better positioned when it comes to making decisions about themselves involving alcohol and other drugs.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the next category, which is called the permissive style of parenting. Permissive, starting from the word, tell us a bit about it.
Permissive just means that everything goes.
Anything goes.
Anything goes. Yeah. Anything goes. And so when it comes to permissive parenting, this is likely to happen more, that we also have in our cultures.
Yes.
Sometimes we have children that are named after, this child is named after my father or is named after my mother.
Mama na baba.
Yes. So you also have these pet names of daddy, mommy, and so on.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a child that you're already thinking in terms of your mother or your father, it means that you're likely to allow a lot of things.
Yeah.
You're likely to allow a lot of things, and therefore you always want to, kind of like shield them, shield them from all this. So a lot of things go because of that kind of thing.
So when it comes to rules and enforcing some of these limits, how is that observed?
You're already permissive.
You
have already given so much room that there are no boundaries.
And even if you set these rules, they're not being observed?
Yeah. They would not be observed because you see, and again, more or less, it's going to happen with the parent who, it has, let's say my son has been named after my father. It means that I'm likely to always see, so if my husband is now probably being firm with my son, then I say, it looks like you are punishing my father.
Or are you being unfair?
Yes, you're being unfair. So you see, that is actually likely to bring a lot of conflict.
Yes.
Because already it means that you cannot even agree on a lot of things.
You compromise on so much.
And the child gets to learn that they can always get away with that.
Now, how does this relate to their self-esteem much later in life? The children
who
have been brought up in such a setup.
First of all, they have very little control, and even in terms of emotional regulation. Yeah, so it means that their self-esteem, especially where they are with others who will not entertain those kind of things, they're likely to feel low, and therefore they're likely to lash out at others or run back to the parent and report how, they are doing this to me.
Yeah.
Yes, and sometimes you find such kind of parents can actually come out and say, oh, so what are you doing? What is your son doing to my son? Yes, yes. So you see, with that kind of thing, you are already making the child feel like you will always
there.
cover for them. You'll always cover for them, and therefore that brings a lot of conflict.
And when it comes to their ability to make decisions, how are they, children who are brought up under this style of parenting, decision-making skills, how are they impacted?
The decision-making skills will be poor. Because you see, they are never given an opportunity to think about, for you to make decisions, you need to weigh the options. You need to make a choice.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to think about, okay, so this is the issue. How do I address the issue? What are the options that I can have in this particular issue? And then you choose from there.
Yeah.
But you see, this one has never had an opportunity to do that. So it means they have no decision-making skills.
What of their attitude when it comes to now alcohol and drug use, especially much later in life?
Oh no, that then it's, those controls. Children learn about social and even emotional regulation when they are young.
Okay.
So as they continue to grow, then they begin to know about limits, they begin to know about what is right and what is wrong. But if they are able to get away with it, they are actually not even able to conceptualize that alcohol or drugs will even affect them. Because so that means that they have a very high chance of getting into drug use. Yeah, because they are not able to make decisions. So they're indulged without any limits put in place. Oh yeah.
All right. That's a pretty harmful way of living. Yeah. But now let's quickly move on to the next category of parenting, and this is now the uninvolved. Wow. The fact that this actually exists, how is this a problem even when it comes to parenting? Those who are uninvolved.
This is where actually children take care of themselves.
And yet the parents are there.
The parents are there. So it means that they are very neglectful. If they have, and you see for children, it's not about the material things. Material things are so easy to get. Yeah, it's the easiest part in terms of raising children. It's the easiest part. Even though right now there are many people who are struggling with putting food on the table, but you find that putting food on the table when it comes to raising children is the easy part. Now, the part that they require is where you actually talk to them one-on-one. So you can imagine this kind of parenting that is neglectful or uninvolved. It means that they actually don't quite care in terms of the emotions. So once they have provided the food, it is there, you can figure out yourself. Even if it is school, we actually have parents who never go for parents' meetings. Yeah. And their children know. I say, oh, people are supposed to come for, don't worry, my parents won't come.
But we also have, at least for some of us, growing up, you get to a certain age where parents say, oh, anaweza jichunga, si anajua kupika, anajua kufunga mlango, anaweza jipeleka shule. Does this also sort of contribute to this sort of parenting, the uninvolved way, where you get to a certain age and your parents now let you go and you just take care of yourself?
There is when we talk about uninvolved, it means that they really do not quite care what happens in your life. But you know that children must also be given an opportunity at some point to be able to get out of the nest, to be able to take care of themselves. So those skills they must have had long before. Okay. Yeah. But now, if they get into a certain age where they can take care of other children, and we did. Yeah. Yes, we did. If you had siblings behind you, you raised them one way or the other because your mother probably would be away, especially in the rural. Urban areas is a little bit different, but in the rural area, you're told, oh, you know what, there is mboga in the shamba. Yes, you can go and get mboga from the shamba. The water you can get from the river, and the firewood you can get from the forest. Yeah, it is there. And please make sure that the children have taken a bath.
Firstborns, deputy parents.
Firstborns, yeah. So you see then, you realize that yes, you may have been overburdened, given your age and so on, but then you realize that what you learned in that particular kind of style is that taking responsibility. So you find that you become a much better decision maker. Yeah? It's only that now when you find others who were raised in those other styles, you're going to conflict.
Yeah, it becomes a very big problem.
Even at the
place
of work, you're likely to conflict because you
Okay.
say, how is it possible that you're not able to think about that? That you can't do these things? How?
How?
Yeah, because now it means that however you were raised, then also comes to that place of work.
Yeah. So for this category, the uninvolved parents, for it to qualify to be the uninvolved, the parents need to be completely, absent in terms of providing emotional, psychological, and all that.
Yeah.
And not this way of sort of, making you responsible that we are used to.
Yeah. So the child basically, it means that they are taking care of themselves. It's
all right.
Really
not that the parent
nothing.
is busy elsewhere. They're just
and
not.
they may even be in that house.
Okay.
They live in the same house. It's just that you don't bother as a parent to find out also, did you even eat? First of all, you are a child. So probably it should have been, somebody should have made the food.
Yes.
The food there.
And provided.
You see, they don't even bother. Oh, I hope you have eaten. Yeah. So it's, and that is your mother who is asking, I hope you have eaten. So it means that they do not have much connection
with you as a child, and
Yeah.
Okay.
So it means that they actually the child is not able to express themselves in terms of the challenges that they are facing.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that is the uninvolved way of parenting. Still looking at how, the different styles of parenting that are out there and which one you should start employing if you are not. But we will be getting to that in not too long. But for now, we want to take a very quick breather. Do stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.